training. For you to train a dog, it's best that you start from the very early stages. I always say that train them from day one when they're from 6 weeks old or 7 weeks old. That's when I start my potty training with them. So the earlier you introduce training to them, the better for you. Again, let's not forget that each dog has its own individual temperament. Some of my dogs here never give me stress. Giselle here, for once, has never stressed me when it comes to training, when it comes to leash training, basic commands, sit, come. Yeah, she doesn't really listen to basic commands. But I have other dogs who I talk to. We actually talk to them and they listen. I tell people that, so I tell dog owners that any behavior that you do not want, do not allow it, because these dogs are going to test you. They're going to push you to your limits. And if you do not want it, do not allow it. What you want them to do is what you should train them and instill in them. Now, training dogs, from the little experience I have, you have to be extremely patient with them. All dogs are different. No two dogs are alike. You have to be extremely patient. Just because you taught dog A how to sit and she got it once doesn't mean that dog B is going to get it immediately. Most times you have to repeatedly teach the same command. Sometimes you have to repeatedly teach the same command for them to pick up on. When it comes to feeding, yes, like I said, they are very economical to feed. Yeah, I know. They're very economical to feed. Giselle here, she takes her meal. I feed them once a day. All my dogs, I feed them once a day, just because I try to maintain their physique, if I can call it that, or let's use the word physique. I try to maintain their physique so that you do not get them to be overweight, because these dogs, yes, they're prone to being overweight. When I see some dogs that are way overweight, I actually complain to the owners, like, you guys, what do you feed these dogs? How often do you feed these dogs? You need to feed them appropriately so they are not overweight, so they don't start having issues with their joints, because once that happens, you start having a problem. General management is very, very minimal, if I can use that word, or it's very minimal. Why do I say that? Feeding, grooming, healthcare, what else? Exercise. It's all up to you, the owner. My dogs have a rule and they're very used to that rule. In the mornings when the kennel is being cleaned and washed, I only let them out by 7 a.m. in the morning, and they only allowed to play for 1 hour, 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning. At least the weather is very cool. It's not extremely hot. Another thing I like to chip in here, with these guys, they don't do well with heat. I'll say it again. So avoid everything that has to do with heat. I'm sure you can see the way she's breathing, and the majority of us are used to them breathing this way. They're not like the German Shepherds or the Dobermans or Rottweilers that have clear nasal canals that can actually breathe properly. These guys have issues breathing. It's bad enough that they came out like this with their flat nose or flat noses. It's just best for us not to put any place that is too hot. We have a routine that we follow in the house. 7 a.m. is time to play. 7 p.m. is time to play. And we are back and we're resting. Yes, they need as much rest as possible. They need enough exercise. So it all boils down to you, the owner, to know how to feed, how much exercise they need, and how much training you need to give them. So overall, general management, I'll give them on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give them a 7 or an 8 over 10. Again, it boils down to you, the owner of these dogs. How do you want them to live? How do you want to treat them? If you treat them like your child, trust me, they would enjoy, and they're very loyal. They will love you back regardless of whatever is done to them.